now as simple as the client.
I am with you. I don't know if I'd be able to sleep. I'd be like excited and
But
like.
if we did a one-night occupation, then sleep's like, we need sleep, right? Just have drum circles and fun all night.
Yeah,
That's
right?
Like, have
Yeah,
fun.
that just sounds like fun to me.
And teach-ins.
Well, yeah, you can do that too. But you can also do those all during the day too.
Right.
So yeah, let's do it. That sounds good to me.
I love that. Camping.
We do that Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah, let's just do Saturday to Sunday.
Okay.
Keep it simple for a lot of reasons. Okay, so that's awesome. So we're camping at the steakhouse.
And really, if there's people that wanted to come up and camp for longer, there's a lot of campgrounds that are actually close by,
Yeah.
right down Route 4 and right up north. And I mean, Sherry and Bill Gold, you could
I
ask
was
them.
going to say, yeah, and I can host a couple of tents in my backyard.
Yeah.
Parking should be free also.
It really became a problem. Yeah.
Awesome, this is good.
I know, huh?
Yeah, parking right.
Yeah, so we're going to camp out, set up tents on the steakhouse farm. Okay. And just have a 24-hour event.
And what day are we planning this for?
September 1st. September 1st, yep.
September 1st camping. Yeah.
So, the one thing is we're going to camp. Camp is not technically an occupied event. So I'm not going to call it an occupied event. I'm just going to say we're going to camp on the lawn.
Well, let's just call it New Hampshire Hands Across America,
Hands across New Hampshire.
Hands Across New Hampshire,
Concord.
Concord,
Yeah.
Sleepover.
Yeah. I mean, I already have the event page. I'm just going to put sleepover. And that'll be all right. Sleep in. Okay, cool. So that's Hands Across New Hampshire. We'll probably have to talk about some logistical stuff about that. But I don't yeah, we figured it out.
Wake up and sleep.
Okay, so next up is Pride Fest.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been involved in organizing Pride Fest since back in March. It actually started with Mary Ann O'Connor as part of Occupy the Primary during Occupy the Primary, and it was the biggest event of Occupy the Primary. There were like 300 to 400 people there, like all young people, and we decided to create something like outside of Occupy that would organize a festival, a Pride Festival in New Hampshire every year, because we're like the only state in New England that doesn't have a Pride Festival. So a bunch of us did that. We're forming our own nonprofit, so we can get a bunch of local vendors to sponsor us, and the event is happening next week, so next Saturday. So I'm still looking for a lot of volunteers. What I've been working on right now is there will be a puppy parade in the park. Like the idea was kind of like the whole event is focused on completing families. Since we now have.
Sure. Do you want to spread out the circle a little bit?
We have joiners? Yeah, we got. All right. Come on in.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ben. That didn't hear you the first time.
Anyway,
You want to pass this around?
yeah. I have so one of the things I've been looking for help for is hand-to-hand promotion. We have about 10,000 of these actually, but if anyone wants to take like a stack of these and tell everyone you know about the event, that would be fantastic. Should I just put it in the middle or hand it around?
Pass them around.
Yeah, just pass them around. Take as many as you think you can pass out. The other thing I was talking about is we're focusing on completing families, because a lot of people don't know that New Hampshire now has marriage equality and gay adoption. So part of that is we got the Manchester Animal Shelter to come down and set up a booth for like dogs, and we're having and around like 3:30 we're having like a puppy parade around the park to show like pride. So we're getting like dog adoption involved in that. So if you know someone who has a dog, I've been trying really hard to get people with dogs to come so that we can actually have like a little march.
Trying to bring my dog.
Point of information.
the Nashua, for any of you who may not have heard this, the Nashua chicken fillet, Chick-fil-A
It's just chicken.
actually just
Yeah.
sponsored their event
Yeah, we
in opposition to their corporate headquarters.
Yeah, we actually decided to go down to Chick-fil-A in Nashua and leave a stack of flyers there as a form of protest, and then the owner went and found us, and I was afraid he was going to like yell at us, but then he offered us lunch, and like he has like several gay employees and gay friends, and he decided to give away free food at the event. And because he disagrees with the CEO's policy, so that's made national news now. Other than him, like all the people selling things in the park are small businesses, though, because we think that they're the pride of the community. And what was the one? Oh, we need volunteers the day of too to help the vendors set up at 11 a.m. So,
What's the date on this again?
11 a.m. It's next Saturday, August 11th. It's in Veterans Park.
Oh,
Yeah, and we had the permit and everything. It's legal. It's legit. So
I have a question on the. You said you're working with the Manchester Animal Shelter.
Yeah.
So is somebody working with them to
yeah, Tara Powell.
Okay, Tara.
Yeah, she called them. You should probably contact me though, because I'm like the dog coordination person. We went up there together. She called Shelly from the Manchester Animal Shelter, so she knows about that particular phone call.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about
I can ask her.
bringing water and other stuff.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's the other thing. Does anyone here have a inflatable kiddie pool or like some sort of Tupperware container bin?
You're looking for a large container. To
Yeah,
drink
just so we can put like ice water for the dogs so they don't get too hot during the event.
I will try and see if I can get something to you by then, because I have some big Tupperware things that you
Okay.
can probably use. I don't have like a kiddie pool, something.
Probably having a bunch of like baggies and stuff too.
Isn't that?
Oh yeah, I have tons of shopping bags.
Oh, that is Tara. Okay. Wow, it's maybe double. Oh, she probably add more when she comes.
First time I saw that sign, it said foul.
We were just talking about you. We were just talking about New Hampshire Pride Fest and trying to get people with dogs to come and bring Tupperware.
I saw a gaggle, so I thought I'd come make up presents because I've been making a splash. Hey.
A good one.
Trying. How are you guys?
Good.
Would any of you want to do security for me, by the way? Huh?
Where?
At Pride Fest. Standing around, being secure. How it was very much for Pork Fest. Yeah, you saw my model at Pork Fest. Basically, since it's a much different crew, too, it's just like observing issues if they come up, deciding if you do actually need to intervene, or anything like that.
You don't need to intervene if I get glitter bomb. That will take the
Oh
glitter
no,
bomb.
that's totally seemed appropriate. I expect many of you around, and if anyone gets uppity about it, I'm going to tell them to leave.
We were just talking about the puppies and
Wonderful,
dogs
okay.
and stuff. And,
How did that go? Did Craigslist get
I haven't gotten back. Like one person responded to my ad and he's like, "I'm not sure that's a good idea because it's hot out."
Everyone's all whiny. Did you say cold and all
I
such?
said, I'm trying to get people here to bring.
It's a family-oriented event. Did we want dildos around? No, so we have puppies. Jeez.
Apparently, puppies are offensive now. I didn't know that.
I think people just sit around on the internet in their pajamas looking at
Yeah, we should get kitties instead.
Well, then it'd be more internet appropriate. Everybody would be on board with kittens.
If they want to anthropomorphize their dogs to begin with cute things on their collar, why does that offend me?
LOL, cat haters.
So, Pride Fest, you need security, you need water thingies, you need volunteers,
I need dogs.
you need dogs. Okay. So,
so my daughter Rebecca's going to have a booth to raise money for the animal shelter that she volunteers at.
Oh, okay.
Back in Massachusetts, I've been working with Elizabeth on that. And
Yeah, I got a text about that.
That's great.
So when is the setup time?
Are we we talking about?
11 a.m.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. The event actually starts at 12, but we hope that everyone wants to do anything for vending or booths or raising money of any sort. You do have, like my comment on the internet said, you do have to pay the $50 for any 10 by 10 space, because it's after August 1st. If it was before, we could have done 25, but it's just what it is now. And come at 11, check in with us or whatever. We're definitely happy to have you guys.
Alright, so we're about to continue with the London Girls group.
Is there anything else on Pride Fest?
I think I covered most of it.
Yeah, okay.
Security, all that.
Alright, cool. So, next on the agenda is restorative justice.
Okay, I just had a small comment about that. I saw someone online knew someone who was like giving teach-ins on restorative justice. I just wanted to see what the status was on that.
I don't know, but I did go to nonviolent trainer gathering last weekend, and I met a lot of people who are seasoned in nonviolent direct action and restorative justice and those types of things, and some of them were interested in talking to me about trying to
I'd want to contact them.
address this. Yeah, so we can definitely.
We'll help you whether you like it or not.
So yeah, we can. Let's talk about that. There's one person in particular who really was interested in possibly coming down and trying to help out here. So I'll get in touch with that person, and then Arnie Alpert is also a good contact for that as well. So, because I don't really even understand exactly what restorative justice is.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never even heard of it. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
The way I understand it is like a lot of like it's an alternative to like the justice system we have now, which is very like the state versus the people, where like instead of making people pay for committing crimes against the state, they repay people for their crimes. This was used a lot in certain indigenous communities because the communities were so small and tight knit that they couldn't afford to be split apart, and they had to. And I feel like it's the same way with many activist groups. So
Somewhat
I'd
like community service.
I don't know that much about it.
I think restorative justice is sort of like something that goes hand in hand. It seems like it works really well with the consensus process.
Yeah.
Because what it is it's not about just like punitive sort of thing. It's about how do we fix whatever caused this. Yeah, let's work through it. So it's a whole way of conflict resolution that could be applied at a very high level, but we would probably start just try and figure it out at the local level and figure out.
The instance that comes to mind is when the flag got broken at the original occupation. That would have been a good example.
That would have been.
Well, sounds like the way King described it, it's similar in the idea of restitution,
Yeah.
but also maybe an emphasis on mediation or something
I think
like
so.
that.
I'm not quite sure. I have a book that I need to read.
We're talking about restorative justice
I don't have it.
as a topic.
Get to now. Do you have like a bottle of water? Yeah. Get a bottle
Okay,
of water.
so where are we now?
Are we done on the topic of restorative justice?
Teresa, did you have anything?
We're finished with the restorative
Did you have anything to
justice.
say, Teresa? Because I thought you were the one who brought it up.
No, Matt had actually asked me to put it on the agenda.
Oh,
and so
okay.
I
I
just
just
put
wanted
it
to
on.
see what it was status of that.
Okay. So next is Ben Underground Occupy.
Okay. So the idea of this is that we have like Occupy in terms of like what it is kind of in the structure. Like we have general assemblies, we plan actions and things come out of that. But a lot of people I think are looking for ways to get directly involved without necessarily having all the organizing around it, where people can kind of do things in their own towns and still have an impact and still be contributing to the movement. So I really want to start a conversation about it's a kind of an underground where it's very decentralized, people are spread out everywhere, have an idea, common goal, common tactics, but at the same time it's you personally doing it, so it's on your own schedule. Things like pamphleting, kind of just very random, sporadic activism showing up, like sit-ins, things like that. Things that aren't necessarily coming out of the Occupy movement at this moment in New Hampshire. So it would be very much less, not really following the same scheme as Occupy right now. That's why I'm trying to call it underground. It would have a whole different feel to it, and I think it's something people so far seem interested in doing. So I'd like to have a conversation on that, if anyone has any input on that idea. Hi. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Catherine. Alright, so underground Occupy.
You have an idea that you'd like to organize it online somehow, or make it less
I'd rather always
publicly
like
visible?
bare bones online. Like in terms of like maybe spreading out like documents or poster ideas, using it for that online purpose. But in general, I think people would have to meet and set a really more solid structure to come up first at least with an idea of what it is or what it could be, and then after that's established, maybe have something online.
One thing I think would be good as part of this is an alternative to Facebook for planning with Occupy events. I'm really sort of feeling like Facebook isn't something that we should
What about the website that we have?
Right.
We've got a forum on there. Have you signed up on the forum?
Yeah. I'm an admin. I've just never been there.
It's wicked easy to use, actually. But yeah, I agree.
Wait, Ryan, you didn't take my admin status off Occupy New Hampshire page, did you? Why don't we start using the Occupy? I mean, what do you guys think about using the Occupy New Hampshire page to do our organizing instead of Facebook?
For in general,
You guys want to use the forum because I have to rebuild it.
That's what we were just talking about.
we need to reformat the forum because it was too glitchy and too buggy.
Yeah.
And there was too many robots on it.
Yeah.
So I might go back to PHP BB, the old original layout. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I know. We had Buddy Press and that was working out pretty well, but spam bots were able to get through that really easily. How were the spam bots on the PHP BB though?
Got them there too.
Got them there. So I mean, maybe it's just something that just can't be helped. I'll need a lot of moderators if you guys want to start using the
If we're
website.
going to use them, I think that we could have moderators. So I think what happens is we use it for a little bit, and then it gets people get more activity on Facebook, and then they go back to using that primarily.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to.
I would use that as well as like an email list.
Yeah.
Because that would be a good way of
I'm
distributing.
thinking like on Facebook, maybe we really are just giving way too much of our
Do we not have the when we use the site? Is that when we are?
No, there is backup of like the old site somewhere.
It was talking about.
I tried to do an update on it, and that crashed. And I was like, well, we're not using it anyway.
All right. Penny was talking about.
Point of process.
Yeah, let's get a
Point of process.
We can talk about
Sorry.
the site,
It's okay.
but
Sorry, I told the trees.
okay, so but
Outside voices, please.
If I can start like an email list, and then we could probably have some kind of conversation that way on it, that would be a good place to start from.
Or does everybody here have Google Apps or anything? I mean, because the other thing is, and this might be something easier to use, is a Google document, or Google has some really cool apps that are easier maybe to restrict people or to leave open, however you want to do it. And that's something that we can put on the website as well.
We could do that. I mean, there's a bunch of other complicated stuff we could use too.
Yeah.
okay.
So that we don't just have a bunch of ideas, are we going to have any direction on that while we're all here?
Yeah. You want to email list? Why don't we do this?
I'll try and come up with like even like events that we're talking about here today, not bombs, puppy parade. I mean, this doesn't have to be directly occupied. That's the idea. We're kind of getting away from like all of the restrictions of it. It's just whatever's effective.
And for the previous 10 months,
I think I might. Yeah, we should probably. Well, but this one I'm gonna give. I'm gonna pass around a list, make a list of emails, and you can create an email list. So,
Okay.
start this. that can be where we start having the conversations about the website stuff. So that's your task, okay? You okay with that?
I'm okay with that. I'll talk to Brian about the website.
Okay. Yeah, we can figure that out. It's just, that's a lot. I don't know. Okay, so anything else on Underground Occupy? Is that okay? So we'll get started. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I think it's a good way to get started. Jack, letter of protest.
I wasn't involved in Occupy before the split. I just read about it and everything. And so it seems to me the movement, the real goal is to remain open and to remain inclusive of people, and that to incorporate kind of tries to close those loops and tries to bring it into like collaboration with the state, and I think we need to be separate from that. So because of the split in the meeting on the 15th of July and the fact that some people incorporated the name Occupy New Hampshire, Inc. on the 16th with the Secretary of State, I think a letter of protest should be written to the Secretary of State and delivered to them within 30 days. I think would be an important time frame. And I drafted that and proposed it on the Facebook page for, I guess it was the last GA. And I can repost it to the unofficial, I forget the name of the discussion board.
Today?
What's that?
You have it with you today?
No, I just posted it online.
Okay.
So I think it's important to state an objection to someone else using our name. Now, if the other group is actually sort of dysfunctional and if it falls apart, and if we stay pure to the intentions of Occupy and we have some durability, I think the other people will come back around and join. But if the other group becomes annoyed with what we're doing, they could take some action and tell us we can't use the name. So this is a zero-cost option to file a formal protest. It won't stop them, it won't close down that corporation, but I think if you don't do this, you won't have any chance to address it later, or successfully.
First Amendment rights.
That's a proposal. Repost it.
Or we can post it on the Occupy New Hampshire Facebook page, the new one, and keep it up until maybe pin it until like Wednesday, and then anybody who wants to add their name, like add their name at the bottom there. Would that be?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Or we could maybe create an online petition that you could sign.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so let's just keep it simple. And then that way we can have.
So as people, if you put it on Facebook, as people say or say that they'd like to put their name on it, would you be able to like compile that in terms of people that do it? Because it's all going to be put online. It's all going to be like just out there. So somebody will need to be keeping an eye and actually recording all of that.
Might say, do you agree with this, yes or no, or something like that, or would you like to be a signatory to this? Yes.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Because that would actually
Way to keep track.
Right. The problem is you can't post the document and the one thing, I think. Would you?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But maybe. But you could post the document and then right under it post the poll in the first comment. Maybe.
Could you link to the document within the poll and say?
Should be able, some way we'll figure it out. I think there should be a way to do that.
Are you guys talking about polls on forums?
No, we're just talking about.
You should be able to do polls on Facebook. I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, but if we can put the letter right there and then have the poll attached to the letter, I think
you
have
can.
the letter as a question.
I think you can. I'm not sure.
And then under it, just have your options.
Oh, right.
We'll play with it when we get home.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So then,
Point of information,
at the top of the page.
on the website we can do polls.
So I think we're underutilizing the website, and we have complete control as far as versus the government. We have a lot more control on the website.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Not that anybody here is anti-state or anything.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, so the letter of protest, we will have that set up, and then are you comfortable submitting it like Wednesday or something?
When I get home tonight, I'll put it on there tonight.
Okay.
And then it should be, I think, submitted within 30 days of when he incorporated them.
So today's the 4th, so you want to wait.
It should be filed by, say, the 13th or 14th.
Yeah, okay, so Monday the 13th, maybe?
Is this just as a, because we've asked the question, is this just like to lodge something in the public record so that in case anything ever comes up? Because it's already been, we can't stop them from doing it. We've already asked the state about that and they've responded.
It's an act of protest.
It's an act of protest, and also, I do think, and the next thing on the agenda is the legal case. What?
It's important for the legal case.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's a marker so that they can never say, well, you never objected.
Okay, sure, that's what, so it's just, it's something on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, and
So
so,
then really you should make a document and file it at the secretary.
well, that's,
You
he's
should
going to do
report
that
it.
on the 13th.
Yeah, and I've actually drafted something and proposed it, so I'll
Take a collection then from maybe from the people that are involved in the court case or from whomever. I'm not sure. Report it. Because it's going to cost you $25 probably to have it recorded. No?
No, this would be just a letter that you would deliver to them.
But if you want it to be on the record, it should be recorded at the county.
If it ends up being recorded,
This will be in the Secretary of State's records. I don't think you have to record it at the recorder of deeds.
Okay.
if something comes up, they'll let us know, and then we'll all contribute.
Yeah.
I know I will.
I will.
Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the legal case. I don't know, Cecilia?
I texted her.
Yeah, Cecilia's supposed to be here, but because what's happened is there's some concern about the implications of this incorporation on the legal case for the people who were arrested at Veterans Park back in October. Because their whole defense rests on the right to revolution in the New Hampshire state constitution, which is the right for people to revolt. An incorporation is not a person, which, this is all funny, I'm sorry. And so now there's questions about what the implications of the incorporation are on the people who were arrested, and if that is going to destroy their
happened
case.
afterwards.
Yeah, and that's what I think, but we need to have a conversation about it.
Because it happened before they were incorporated, that they're responsible as individuals. Anything that happens after the incorporation, the actual entity is responsible for.
Possibly.
I do believe that's how it works.
So I feel without Cecilia here, we don't really have enough information because she talked to her lawyer, and there's only 2 of us here that were actually in the court case. So
Yeah, I don't know what's, I hope it's okay.
so I mean, we can talk all we want about it, but we're not really legal experts. So
Well, I know a tiny bit about nonprofits, because I was interested in starting one, so I know.
I'm sad she's not here because we could have heard what her lawyer thinks.
Yeah.
Alright. So if she does make it, we can have that conversation when she gets here. Sound good?
Is she coming?
She was supposed to be here, but
She should have been here by now.
yeah, I'm starting to
I
get
mean, it's just me and Ben, so we can talk to her after, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Reestablishing an adulthood ceremony.
Well, it's occurred to me in my many years on this globe that there's a pattern in how society has been changing over that period, and one of the changes I see is the lack of actual the number of people that seem to actually be adults, that take responsibility for themselves, to educate themselves and be what an adult should be. an appropriate adult doesn't need a whole lot of authority to have them guided in their path through life. And I think that there's been kind of a dropping of many cultures, going back hundreds of years, have had an adult ceremony as part of their culture. That you reach a certain age, a certain level of maturity. You say, I am no longer a child. I am now an adult. With the backing of the community that you're part of, and I think that the reestablishing of that as a thing, and it doesn't have to be attached to a particular religion or any other particular cultures. It should be just a matter of course that you have a point in your life where you're no longer the charge of your parents, and now you are an adult, responsible and moving forward into life. And the lack of that, I think, it leaves lots of people out there floundering, not knowing how to decide to make the next move in their life. They don't, and so I'm just being a stand at this point in time to create something, and I want input from everyone as to what that could be. In my imagination, I think it would be a thing that would be decided by the individual. Now, of course, this would be given that individual had a responsible upbringing, by their parents. There's a lot of questions that would come up. That they would actually choose a name for themselves as they reach that adulthood. That there would be a ceremony. There would be a ceremony, and there would be a celebration of this coming out, and that going forward, it would be understood by the community that person is that separate person now, and no longer the charge of their parents. And I get a lot of nodding heads and people saying, you know what, that's a good idea. And I would just like to, maybe we can create a website and generate some activity around it and actually, come up with something.
I'll bet you Sherry and Bill Gould would have a lot of good information probably, since they come from the Native American culture.
Sure.
And that's something that they've been doing forever.
I know we could contact some pagans too, because they definitely have naming ceremonies.
Yeah. What you're talking about is the rite of passage.
Yes.
And the way I was brought up, that was when you owned a house. So a lot of people aren't doing that anymore because that's quite toxic to their future. So yeah, that is a good suggestion that we should give people an alternative to feel like they're an adult. I feel like it's time for them to take responsibility for their own life.
Yeah. I mean, now you have, high school graduation, and some people have their...
I just had a question.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Would you say that, would you think like a teepee or like an open field someplace in nature would be like a good place to hold a rite of passage?
A teepee? Where are we going to find a teepee?
Semi-sacred space.
Where do you find a TV at this hour?
I think it ought to be a sacred event. However, the people that are generating it want to do it. I mean,
okay.
It's going to be something that each community is going to derive their own.
Well,
I would think, because the community is going to. Let's face it, you're going to have young teenagers declaring, "I'm an adult now," unless it is community driven. I don't think necessarily. Maybe they can go to their community and say, "I think I'm ready," but I think the community that they live within might want to have some say.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, help with guidance.
It's like I say, I think that the ability of parents to have input to their children's lives is being taken away. You know, with government schools, you know, their earlier and earlier daycare, and you know, the amount of resources that get taken out of a family, and taxes and other things that make it impossible for there to be a parent at home doing their job as raising the children. And you know, my idea, you know, goes further than just the adult ceremony. I think that things like community school and homeschooling, you know, would go hand in hand with this sort of thing, because, you know, you would have the parents and the children together more. There would be the circumstance that socialization occurs, because socialization is where children learn from adults. You know, when you go to a government school, the ratio of children to adults is not conducive to doing socialization. Whereas, you know, in a smaller environment, in a home, in a community, that sort of thing can happen. And so when you've got that, and the kids are growing up, and they're learning every day, and developing into socialized adults, they're going to have a clear idea. I'm ready, and it, you know, all of this change, of course, is dependent on a lot of people, you know, instituting it. But I mean, if nobody's talking about it, it's not going to happen. And so I'm talking about it, and I'd like to get others to generate this sort of an idea. And you know, please contact me at ablefreeman at gmail.com. That's ABLEFREEMAN at gmail.com. And let's work together on this. Thank you.
Sherry and Bill are going to have huge phone calls today. So, Sherry, Bill, got some things to talk about. I need to get
Ishmael involved in this somehow?
Oh, Ishmael's freaking great. Yeah.
All right, so next
You know, plus I need some trees planted.
All right, so next on the agenda is S17. S17 is the anniversary of the Occupy Wall Street Zuccotti Park encampment. I had volunteered to organize the New Hampshire group of people going for Occupy up to with Boston. However, I've decided that I'm going to not do that. I'm going to go meet some people in Connecticut. This is my invitation, I guess. I'm going to meet people in Connecticut, and we're going to go up to probably like New Haven and take the train into New York and be there. But I don't know how I would coordinate Occupy New Hampshire getting to S17 at this point.
Well,
so
do we all do that? Like we just decide?
that's what I'm saying. And I'm just like,
I will be there if I get it right.
What day of the week is that?
I think it's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I think.
I'll have to get a couple days off. I can take a car down.
Okay, cool. So that's